Hello everyone, this is Iftikhar from iftikhar.net. Today in this video tutorial I will show you how to build a WordPress theme for yourself from scratch. This is a WordPress documentation or codex page that explains how you should be developing a WordPress template. There are a lot of things mentioned over here. Most probably we won't be able to go through all of them, but we will try to cover as much as we can. Now let's put it aside. And for development purpose, I have a folder over here, and there is a local installation of XAMPP software where we can build a template and can take a look at how exactly it looks like. But before we get it started, within the theme folder, let's create a folder. I'm calling it as Dokun. This would be the name of a domain name that I have. I'm building this template for that domain name, which eventually would be converted for that specific domain name, but for the time being, let's use it as an example. Okay, so let's open up our editor. I'm using Visual Studio for coding purpose. Let's select the folder first. Okay, this is the example installation over here. This is the WordPress installation, and this is the theme folder. Since we created a folder called Dokun, we will select this folder as we would be working from this folder or inside this folder. Let's select this folder. Okay, so first what are we going to do? We would build a HTML template and then we will convert it to PHP so that we can use it with WordPress platform. Okay, let's create an index.html page. Okay, and this is the HTML5 doc type. Head tag. This is our title. And this is our main style.css file. Okay, let's create another file over here, style.css. Okay, so before I get started, I should be using a theme style guideline over here, mentioned over here. Simply copy this one from here and paste it over here. As you can see over here, this theme is actually 2013 themes style.css files template, but we will change it to Dokun, and theme URI we can remove it for the time being, and I'm using my name as the author, and author URI you can use your own website address. WordPress theme for dokun.us. This is the domain name that I would be using. So license supposed to be copyright protected. Not a big deal, but you can use it. Okay, text domain, I don't really need that. I really don't need that. Okay, now tags, I don't need that either, because it'll be used for my template only. Okay, so first thing we want to do is let's call master reset. In one of my video I discussed about the CSS reset, which you can take a look at from my channel, and I'm just going to use it for HTML5 CSS reset. Okay, from HTML5 doctor. This is the standard CSS reset code that I used for most of my need. Okay, so I'm just going to copy this simple part. I think that should be good enough. Okay, now let's open this HTML file with our browser. That's Firefox. Okay, let's see if it is working. Okay, let's put the body tag. Let's type something and see if it's working. Okay, One thing, I think I got it wrong over here. Okay, yes, it's supposed to be href. Okay, yeah, that's working. Okay, so let's start designing the template first. This would be our main wrapper that basically be holding the whole block of the template design. Wrapper. Let's okay. So for style, split right. Okay. Let's minimize that. Let's make it a little smaller so that we can work easily. Okay. Okay, so from here we start our wrapper. I'm going to be using width 100%. Max width, for me I would be using 1200 pixel. I mean, that's just my preference, but if you want, you can definitely change it the way you want to, depending on your requirements. Overflow, hidden. Okay. So now we need to have a header and footer section. That's header. Let's assign an ID. Let's call and let's put in a footer section. There'll be a lot of content in between, but we will get into that shortly. Okay, so let's call the ID to be footer and the header ID to be header. Okay, for the time being, let's make it a little bigger. Okay, header. And let's keep it 100%. Okay, let's keep it 100%. Okay, overflow, hidden. We'll take a look at what's going on, but for the time being, let's keep it with 100%. Come on. Okay. So this is our footer section. This is our header. Okay, well, let's see if it shows over here. Yep. Okay, let's put some kind of border so that we can see what's going on. Solid 1 pix red. Okay, let's do the same over here. Okay. As you can see over here, it's working just fine, but something really border solid. Okay, that's supposed to be px. Okay, so you can see the header and footer section within the red border, but let's put another border line for the wrapper so that we can see whether or not it's within the wrapper. Let's put it blue. We will change it afterwards. Okay. Okay, so the whole thing is within the footer section. Now we have our header and footer section. You can put it a nav section over here for primary menu. Primary menu. Okay, you know what? We've been modifying a lot of things as we go. Primary, okay, so primary navigation. Okay. Menu. Okay. You know what? Let's keep it only menu. I'm not quite sure why there was an underline over here. Okay, yeah, so menu primary. I think we should use primary. You know what, actually we can make it nav bar, which would be a lot easier. Okay, same goes over here, 100%. Border solid 1 pix. Use any color actually, red. Okay, overflow hidden. Okay, let's see, refresh the page. Okay, we got a little red section going on over here, so let's put nav over here, see if it shows up. Okay, so here we go. Now we need to have our main section. This is where all the content's gonna be. Our content will be here. Okay, so let's call it content. Okay, content, let's call it content over here. Okay, let's put something in there and see if it shows up. Okay, so we have our header section, nav section, this is our content section, and this is our footer section. Let's call it content. Okay, there you go. Now, as you can see, we are not using any font yet, but we will use font so it looks better. Okay, we can use Google Web Font. Google Web Font. Okay, so let's go there, and we would be using Open Sans. Okay, here we go actually. Okay, customize 6, 700. I think that'll be good enough. Yeah. Okay, let's embed this code. Okay, make it look good. Cool, looks better. I think so. Okay. We would have to declare that every single font on our content or anything within our site has to be in Open Sans font. Okay, so let's do it on within the body tag. Okay, so let's refresh. Okay, so we are using Open Sans already. Okay, now within the main content we would have one section for sidebar and another section for the content. So we would have a content section, large content section on the left hand side, and on the right hand side we would have our sidebar. Okay, let's put the sidebar first as side ID. Okay, it will be sidebar. You can use it over here, sidebar. Should mention an ID. We can actually call it not content, we can put it like main content, or let's keep it content actually. Okay, and this section would be let's call this entry. Okay. And this section has sidebar. Okay. Content overflow hidden. Okay, entry. Since our total width of our content wrapper is 1200 and our sidebar would be like 300 pixel with 300 pixel, so the entry section can easily be 900 with 900 pixel. Okay, overflow hidden. Okay, here is a spelling mistake over here going on. Okay, so 900 and 300, that's 1200, but we have to remember that sidebar cannot have a border for the time being, because that would be more than 1200 combined together, because if your entry section has a border of 2 pixel or 1 pixel, that would be 901 pixel or 2 pixel, 902 pixel. Okay, let me give an example. Border solid 1 pix. We can do blue. Okay, and from here we can do border solid 1 pix blue as well. Let's refresh the page. Okay, now as you can see, this content section over here, let's put a text entry. Okay, as you can see, they're not side by side because we have to use float left. Okay, but as you can see, the sidebar is not going onto the right. Let's use float right. Okay, but still I don't think that will. As you can see, there were little differences over here because the total width is 1200 pixel. The main wrapper's 1 pixel is taken over, and there is also 1 pixel each for entry and sidebar. Actually 2 pixel. Right hand side there is 1 pixel and left hand side there is 1 pixel. Same goes over here, same goes over here. So let's take out the wrapper border first. So the wrapper, let's put border 0, because as you can see, this whole wrapper is all the contents are within the wrapper section anyway. Okay, before we do that, let's do another thing. Let's put the whole content at the center of the website. Okay, center of the page. Oh no, what it does mean, the content should be in the middle, and if I do take out the border, or let's put 0. Okay, now the border is gone for the wrapper, but still there were 4 pixel over here in contact, so that's why you cannot see this sidebar section to be going on the right. If I take out the border color for the entry, border 0, and border for sidebar, you will see they are side by side, entry, and afterwards there should be sidebar section. Okay, as you can see, they are side by side. One way to see it is that if you put background color, you can see the difference a little bit. Okay, as you can see there, this entry section got different border color, background color, and sidebar is white. That means they are side by side, but the sidebar does not have any background, just to show you that they are in the same line for the time being. Okay, all right, now before we do anything else, since we have the master reset section over here, let's put the second section just to organize the content a little bit, or the CSS code a little bit. Okay, template. These are the basic content that we are using, and we will be modifying it later on. Okay, now as you can see, the whole page is pretty much, the layout is pretty much here, Now what we all need to do is to convert this template to PHP so that WordPress can understand this template. Okay, now to do that, first thing what we need to do is create a from here, as you can see on the template theme development page, we need a PHP file called header. I cannot see it over here. Okay, here we go. This is the header, sidebar, footer. These are some of the PHP files that we need, and I will show you how using PHP code we can simply call those templates easily. Okay, now from here, from this section, content, we will copy it and put it in our new file called header.php. Okay, this is it. And then we're going to create another file called footer. Okay, and from here we will copy this section, this main content section, where it ends, this section. Okay. Okay, now we would have to create a index.php page that will be holding that both of them together. Okay. Okay, let's do the sidebar section as well, sidebar.php. Let's create another file called sidebar.php and put this code to hold the sidebar section. And from here, we can copy this section and put it on index.php page. Okay. Now at this point, I think we can delete the index.html file because we wouldn't need that. I think this theme would be recognized within the local WordPress installation that we have. Let's take a look at it. Localhost wp-admin wp-admin. Okay, let's see. Okay, our exam is not running, so let's run this exam first. Exam control, start. Okay, now it should be working. It's taking a little time. Okay, here we go. So this is my default username and password. Let's log into our system. Do not save. Okay, and let's disable certain things so that it becomes a lot more easier for you. Let's deactivate WooCommerce. I already have it installed. Okay, now go to the theme section, appearance theme section, and as you can see, our Dokkan template shows up. This is the default theme that we have from 2017. This is 2017. This is my template for another website, for my personal website, and this is for the new one that we are building. Okay, let's activate this template. We can put the screenshot later on, but for the time being, let it be like this. Okay, now let's delete the index.html file and let's take a look at our website first. How does it look like? Nothing. It just shows entry because the index.php has entry in it. Now let's go back to the theme development page, and you can see over here that we have functions like get sidebar, get footer, and we should have something called like get header as well over here, like this. Okay. Now before index, okay, you can do it like this: PHP get header. Okay, copy this. At the bottom we can put get footer. Okay, get header and get footer. Looks good. Now let's go back to the template page, refresh. Now you can see the header and footer section over here, the nav section as well. Now we can also put get sidebar for sidebar.php to show up. sidebar. Okay, here we go. We have the sidebar section as well. Now what you can see over here is the basic structure is over here and it's visible, but for some reason, we could not locate the CSS file. That's why you cannot see the design, overall design, but that is very much possible. Let me show you. Okay, google.com style sheet URI. Okay, this is the default function. This is exactly how you can use them. Okay, on our header.php page. So do it like this. Okay, PHP, and then just put in a /. Let's take a look at the source code of what's going on over here. Okay, is it working? Yes. So the templates theme should be working right now as well. Yep, here we go. Okay, these are the very basic thing, but I think there are a lot more PHP functions that will go in here, and we will show you how to do that. I will show, but before that, there are a lot more things that needs to be done. Let's go to the theme development page and see what it says. Okay, we need another. Okay, we can delete this index.php HTML file. We don't need them anymore. Okay, we have to create another file called functions.php. This is the page where a lot of PHP code gonna go for custom function, and everything will be over here, which I will show at some point. But for the time being, let's stick to the main idea of building the template first. Okay, now we also need single.php. That is the page basically will display the post. So let's create another file called single.php. Okay, same tag will go over here just like header, footer. Okay, single. Okay, now over here I will show with the PHP loop, WordPress loop, how to show a post. Google WordPress loop, or we can even take a look at a sample actually. Sample supposed to be on single.php page. Okay, let's take a look at like this single.php. Okay, here we go. Click on it. Okay, we cannot see it over here. Okay, let's get the WordPress template loop. I'm sorry about that noise that's coming from outside. Okay, here is the basic template of the WordPress post page, single post page. Okay, we will copy the whole thing and paste it over here. I will go one by one, but I will show for the time being that how single post can be visible. Okay, now we have a test post over here. So if you just simply open it up, you should be able to see the post content over here. So that means this loop is working. Okay, there are a lot of things that we don't need. I will just simply delete them for the. Okay, so let's delete this part which we don't need actually. Okay, we don't need this part. Let's delete this text as well. We really don't need them as well. Okay, this is the loop. Okay, let's actually put it aside a bit. On single page, we really don't need a link to the title. So what I'm going to do, as you can see over here, there is a link on the title we don't need because it's on the single page, and single page You don't need that one. We will need that one on the archive page. So let's get rid of this link from here. Okay, and delete this h2 section. Okay, there is no more link, but there was something wrong. Our template broke up for some reason. Okay, entry. Okay, we don't need that either. Okay, we can actually make it short like this. Does it work? Yeah, perfect. Okay, we will style them a little later. Okay, one thing that I just realized actually, rather than doing it like this entry, since the entry actually would be the content, the blog post content that's welcome to the WordPress, this section should be the entry section, and this should be actually post. ID is supposed to be post section entry, right? This section we would be calling it a post. And let's call it as a end of post. Okay, refresh this. Looks okay. All right, so this looks okay. Now on index page though, it'll be a bit different, because on index page this is supposed to be multiple posts, so it's supposed to be posts with a plural word on it. Section posts, or we can even call it archive. Section archive, because there'll be multiple posts in here on index page. Let's go to our index page. Okay, there is just only one post. Okay, okay, this is for single post. Number 3 is supposed to be post, and number 4 we are making it for archive. Okay, so archive, it's pretty much the same code just like this one. This is the CSS code over here, as you can see. Okay, just wanted to make sure this loop is working now. For some reason the loop is not working. Okay, WordPress loop. The basic example of WordPress loop is supposed to be at the very beginning. Okay, this is the one actually. If I have post style, well, we can actually copy this one from while have post, the post. Okay, not quite sure why exactly multiple posts are not being sure. Let me take a look at it over here real quick. Reading. This is the reason. We have assigned a different page over here because I was working on a different template. So we had a separate page to show the front page and separate page for the blog section. So let's put it over here. The latest post is supposed to be the first page. Now refresh it. As you can see, as multiple posts are showing up right now. Okay, so this is the reason why it did not work. Okay, Now what do we do? Within the post section, we need to create a class. The reason we are doing it so that we can style them each and every single post over here. Okay, let me show you. Div class called post. I can put an ID over here, which is not important, but still you can use it. PHP and get the ID. Let me see if it does work. Okay, let me take a look at the source code a little bit. Okay, so the ID, maybe the ID if I'm not wrong. Yeah, that's supposed to be the ID. So these are the post ID number. There's no significance to that one, but you can use it if you want. You can use it like this to make it look better. Okay, as you can see at the end of the tag, you'd be able to see which post section it is. Okay, post number with number on it. There's no significance to that one, but you can definitely use it like this. Also, remember that there is a PHP class function which I can show you. Post class. Let me open up another window. WordPress post class. Okay, this is the function that you can use. This is exactly what I was talking about, to be honest with you. So let's do it like this, the whole thing over here. Okay. This is the entry section. And I'm getting a little bit messy over here, but you get the idea. Okay, I think we don't need that. Just remove it for the sake of simplicity. Okay. Let's separate them. And do it like this. Okay, I think I got it wrong. That's supposed to be over here so that we can show all the posts, and if there are no posts, let's open up the page. Okay, let's take a look at the source code in here. Yeah, it's working just fine. As you can see over here, because of using this function post class, which is a default or one of the WordPress function, native WordPress function, to display the kind of post classes that are being used. There are different kind of post format over here that can be changed, and style can be changed on that way as well. Now we have the post class over here, so we will use this post class to style this section. Okay, now let's go to the archive section over here and style them a little bit. Archive.post post merging. Okay, border. And that's not necessary, but just to separate the content. Now one thing that I really wanted to test real quick is that put all the posts in draft mode so that it does not show. Okay, it does not show any post as a published post, because we are using a logic over here showing that if there is any post, then only then it shows. Okay, since we do not have that, let's say sorry. Let's separate them. Let's take a look at the WordPress loop in here. What I am getting it wrong. Okay, you can use like else, just in case if there are no posts. I'm assuming you are building the template to show the post, but if you do not have post, it will simply show that sorry. Okay, but we can style them a little bit nicer way. H2 section, div class post, and okay. This will be the message displayed once you do not, if you do not have any published posts, then you will see this message. Okay, so let's make it a little bit better over here. Post entry font size 15 pixel. Okay, fine. Line height, I'm using 1.5%, 1.5. Okay, so it doesn't look bad. Okay, cool. Now over here within the post section, we can say H2. Nothing found. Just to show this message, there was nothing in here. Okay, so now we need to make it. Okay, this is pretty much what let's publish them. Let's publish them and see how does it look like. Publish, then publish this post as well. Okay, publish. Okay, we have both of them over here. Okay, as you can see over here, it shows post metadata. We can just simply do it metadata, okay, like this. And let's do it over here like this. Mm, 10 pixel, and this one's supposed to be 0. Let's just separate them a little bit, okay, so that they have a little bit more space to breathe. Okay, and also for the p tag within the entry section over here, the p tag over here within this content section, this content function will generate a lot of p tag. As you can see, there are a lot of p section over here, tag over here. If you inspect this element, you can see this p tag, so we have to style them as well so that it doesn't look bad. Okay, we can do it like this, p tag margin. Okay, let's refresh this page. Okay, now it looks better. Okay. So the font size, I think it'll be wiser to use 16 because 15 seems to be a little bit smaller. Okay, I think now it looks much better. Okay, now let's start with our header section and then we will get to the sidebar section. Okay, so this is our index.php. For the time being, let it be like this, and let's go back to the header section. Let's fix our header section first. Okay, for the title, okay, there are a number of things that we want to add over here, but I just wanted to see the default WordPress site title function. Let's see. That'll be WP title. Theme development template. Let me see if it is something over here. The loop we looked at. Okay, let's take a look at header, content, footer. Okay, get sidebar. Okay, we have to put in a search form as well. Okay, so let's create a PHP file called searchform.php, and we can simply put this function in over here, and sorry, it's supposed to be on header section right next to, if you wanted to put it over here. Okay, let's create a logo section first. Okay, div class logo. What we're gonna do using the h1, we will just simply call the site title over here, and there would be div class div search box. Okay, that's our get search form. Let's refresh this page. Okay, nothing shows up. On a h1 tag over here, it's supposed to be logo, and within the header section, header dot logo float left width 300 pixel maximum. I wouldn't want to use more than that. We really wouldn't need that big of a header section over here. Okay, and to show the site title, we can use it like get blog info. Actually, we can use this get blog info function. Blog info function with a lot of parameters over here that you can use. So let's call this PHP get blog info. I guess so, right? PHP blog info, or get blog info. It's supposed to be name over here. Okay, so the name info. Okay, let's put like this, the parameter over here, and let me refresh this page. Okay, there was an error. Let me echo that get blog info. No, I'm getting it something very, very wrong. Okay, let me go back to that. It's supposed to be blog info. Okay, now refresh this page. Yeah, this is the site title that we're looking at within the h1 tag. So we can, okay, over here we can decide some common section, common elements. Let's say h1 tag. No, let's put like this. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, that's h1, that's h2, h3, h4, h5, h6. I don't think we would need all this, but just to be on safe side, font size, let's put it like 48 pixel for the sake of, okay, it sounds like too big. 40 pixel maybe. Okay, let's put it 40 pixel, whatever. We can put whatever you want. It's not a big deal. You can customize it any way you want. Let's keep it like that. Okay, now So font H2, its size supposed to be something around 35, 36. I'm just doing it, you know, based on whatever I'm feeling like, but you can definitely change it the way you want to. There are a lot of standards. A lot of people would be talking about that. Hey, this is the way it's supposed to be. H1, H2, 3 tags supposed to be this size. Well, you can follow that one, no problem. I'm just doing it for the sake of showing it to you that what's supposed to be and how exactly it can be done. Okay, let's put it in 28. We will discuss them later, but for the time being, let's see, refresh this page. Okay, the size seems to be a little big. Let's put it 30 pixel. Okay, so reasonable. Okay, so over here, header dot logo h1, we can put it margin bottom 10 pixel, maybe, just to give you some spacing over here. Okay, meanwhile, we can think of clearing up our section a little bit. Okay, now as you can see over here, this header section need to be styled a little bit. Now I'm using these color palettes from here. I think these colors are pretty good. There are a lot of color palettes that you can choose, but I think this one is something that I want to stick with. Okay, now if you inspect this element, you can get the color code in here. Where is it? Where did it go? Where did it go? Okay, here we go. Okay, background color. Okay, so for header section, I can use this background, okay, to be the background of my header. Sorry, this is the one. Okay, now I can get rid of the border. We really don't need the border at this point. Border. And also the H1 color can be white just to make it look better. Like I said, I mean, you can use whatever color you think is good for your site, no problem. Okay, we need a little bit of space in here. Let's put padding 20 pixel so that it would look nicer. Okay, it looks better. Okay, now the nav section. Okay, I want to move the nav section over here, have its own dedicated. We will fix this number thing afterwards. Okay, for the time being, let's just stick to navigation. Something gonna be there. Okay, let's get rid of the background border first. We really don't need a border anymore at this point. We can have a simple background. Okay, okay, looks good, but we have to get rid of this background color over here because that's bothering quite a bit over here. Okay, content section. Also remember, since the whole background of our site is white, it looks kind of a little awkward, so why not we put in a background over here, background color F2, F2, F2. I'm just picking up some random color that popping up in my mind. There is no specific reason why I'm doing F2, F2. Okay, now we need some kind of color to separate the content section from the site background. So what we can do, the content section, make it white. Okay, look good. Looks very good. Let's do the background color for the footer white as well. Okay, refresh. Okay, cool. Now border, we do not need the red border over here. We can have top, sorry, that's supposed to be top. Let's see. Okay, it's kind of harsh color. Let's make it a little softer. 6.6. Nah, that's even worse, to be honest with you. 888 maybe. Okay, let's go DDD. How does it look like? Looks better. I'm happy. Okay, with 100% border. Now we can use padding a little bit at the footer section, padding 10 pixel, maybe 20. Afterwards we can change it. Okay, 10 for the time being, it looks okay. Now if you want to change it over here on the footer section, you can just simply type some typical word, and maybe we can add another menu section over here, but let's do it for the time being. Copyright and copy 2019, all rights reserved. Okay, just to have the text in there. Okay, nothing fancy. Now as you can see over here, this content section is pretty wide and it's coming all the way edge of this section, so we can have a little bit space in here, a little bit of space in here in between the sidebar. Okay, now let's go back to our CSS, inspect element. This is the main content archive section we are talking about. As you can see, the cross is basically showing it to you that it all the way ends over here. Now we can have 20 pixel over here space and 20 pixel over here. That will look nicer. Okay, so the archive section actually can have a little bit of space. Instead of 900 pixel, padding 20 pixel on each side. It's gonna get a little bigger. As you can see, the sidebar went down because 900 is plus additional 20 pixel on the right hand side over here and 20 pixel on the right hand side over here. That's 40. So basically it became 940 pixel width. What we gotta do, we can make it 25 pixel on each side. So that's 50 on the right, 25 on the right, 25 on the left. That's 50. And out of 50, if we do deduct that 50, that's going to be 850 pixel. Let me see if it works. Fantastic. It's working. Okay. It looks better. Definitely looks better. Okay, for the menu section, okay, we would have to use a PHP function so that we can dynamically add WordPress menu. Team support. Excuse me. We can use this function to display the menu. Let's take a look at what happens over here once we do put this function. Okay, this is supposed to be our header menu. Looks good. Okay, and for header menu we need to have a let me see, let's go over here, appearance, and we did not see any menu. Theme support. Okay, we need theme feature. Okay, from the add theme support, we need to have sidebar menus. Okay, we can use this function on our functions.php page to support. Okay, let's go to the functions.php page and let's add this code, see what happens. Header menu, and on the header page we have the theme location header menu. Okay, so we can write it over here, support header menu. Okay, let's see. As you can see, the menu section showed up. Okay, now we have our primary menu. And as you can see from the section over here, display location is header menu. So basically we want to display a menu on the header section. If you want, we will show you later on how we can add another menu, second menu over here at the bottom with link for certain pages. But for the time being, let's add the primary menu first. Okay, So automatically add at the top level pages. We don't need that. Save. Let's see what happens over here. We got to link. Okay, so we're on the game. Okay. Now let's take a look at the default CSS that got generated. We can put it primary menu navbar. That's fine. You know what? I remember changing it to menu primary. Let's see if it does conflict with that or not. Let's put it menus. Okay, and this one gonna be our menu primary. Okay, so this ID and this ID remains the same. Let's go back to the site and take a look at, okay, everything looks okay. Now take a look at the code over here. This is the section basically got generated. Okay. And this is a section that got generated automatically. In that case, we would have, let me see, primary menu. Let me see, refresh. Okay, remains as it is. Manage location. That's supposed to be our primary menu, header menu. As you can see over here, this header menu got registered as we on our functions.php. Okay. I really want to check out real quick something. Register nav menu, how exactly location and description. Okay, so what we can do on the description section, we can do it holds primary menu, and we can add custom menus. We would add multiple menus, so let's do it over here right now. Okay, one is for header, one is for footer. The footer section holds secondary menu. Okay, let's call this function from here, register menus. Header and footer menu. Okay, this is our theme support. Okay, let me go back to the admin panel, and as you can see, we just added another menu over here. Instead of doing that, we can do it like simply footer menu. Okay, we would header menu and the footer menu. Okay, cool. Okay, now you can create another menu over here, create a new menu. You can just say footer menu. Okay, you can just add some privacy page over here. Okay, then you can add contact page over here, and we can add them to our footer menu, these two sections. Okay, now as we are done saving over here, let's go back to our header section and see we use this function, and we would be using the same function for footer at the bottom, okay, over here to show our footer menu. Okay, so at the bottom over here there should be another menu. As you can see, it shows up just fine, no problem. We will be styling them soon enough. Okay, so we have two menus over here that are being used, and you can switch in between from the drop down menu over here. Okay, so if you want to edit the header menu, it still shows primary menu. Why is it like that? Header. Okay, let's go back to the functions.php. What it does say is primary menu. Okay, we named it as such, that's why it shows primary menu. Menu top, let's make it a little easier for us to understand, and menu bottom. Naming doesn't have anything specific to that one, but we just need to specify them. Okay, now what we need to do is start styling them. Okay, menu primary should have a class called this one. Okay, now let's copy this, and this is the container menu top container. This is the container that's basically holding the whole menu all the way top over here, as you can see, right? So let's style them first. Background color red. Let's just check that if it works or not. That's working. Okay, now let's copy this with UL, margin 0, padding 0, border 0. We don't need any border, and copy them ULLI, display inline block. Okay, it should be floating left so that we see the menu float left side by side. Okay, refresh, side by side. Cool. Now the anchor element or the link, display padding 10 pixel by 15 pixel. Let's see how does it look like. Looks good. Looks good, but we have to modify a little bit. Okay, let's see. Float left, and this one's supposed to be over here. Let's display them as an inline block, and let's refresh this page. Okay, on list style type, none. So that we don't see that one. Okay, now as you can see, this, despite the fact that we have a red color background, we don't see the red color background. That's why we have to use overflow hidden. So the container, okay, now we were pretty happy with the color that we had over here, that's EF, so we really don't need to use that background color unless you really want to change it to something else. Or you can even take a look at the color palette from here. If you want to use this color as the background, you can definitely do that. Let's inspect this element and see the background color. This is the background color. I'm just taking the color code from online just to follow a certain pattern, but you can definitely do the way you want to. You can change the color, at any way you want. It's not a big deal, but it's necessary just to show you DEA. Okay, cool. It's pretty eye-catchy, but still we can use that. Color white, and we do not want any text decoration. That means this text underlines, link underlines, we don't need that one, so we can remove it using text decoration none. Okay, I'm sorry, something is wrong. I couldn't type it. Decoration, notation, ration, RATION, decoration none. Okay, cool. Now I think we should make it 15 altogether. It's just like the height is not all that great. Okay, now it looks a little better. Okay, font weight, I wanted to make it a little thicker. Font weight to be 600. As you remember that we added 3, 4, 6, 700, so we can definitely use 600 to make it look a little thicker. Okay, nice. Now we can use a hover effect if you want to. I'm just going to show you over here. Hover, background color. Background color, let's use it. Background color FFF white, and text color will turn into this one, the default color. Let's see how does it look like. Okay, looks good, can't complain. Okay, we'll get back to the footer section a little later. Let's fix the sidebar section right now for the time being. Okay, that's gonna be a hell lot of work on sidebar section. Let's style our sidebar. Okay, we will number them as you have seen over here that I used 1 over here to style this and 2 over here. We will number them afterwards once we are done. That's not a problem. Okay, now in order to use the sidebar widgets, we need to have a function so that our theme supports, just like this one. Our theme should be able to support widgets so that we can drag and drop widgets and be able to display them on our sidebar. Okay, let me show you. Register menu. Let's go back. Content with background. Supposed to be add theme support widgets over here. Add theme support. Post formats. WordPress sidebar widget support. Okay, there you go. Okay, there were so many things that we can do. We will do it in the shortest way it's possible. Okay. I don't think I'm still getting the function theme. WordPress sidebar widget support to theme. Okay. Okay. I think we can use only one sidebar and use this function. Okay, full expanded code. Let's copy this one. Register sidebar. Let's do it over here. See what it happens. Okay, primary sidebar. We'll refresh this page. Sorry, over here. Refresh. As you can see, the widget section showed up, and we should be able to add widgets on our sidebar from now on. However, This is the primary sidebar or the only sidebar. If you want to add a multiple sidebar, as you can see from this section over here, there are two different functions: register sidebars, that's the plural one if you want to use multiple, and this is sidebar, single, if you want to use only one. Okay, and they have examples over here, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, to use sidebars, you must register theme in function.php and register sidebar. As you can see, we have a register sidebar function. We actually don't need this function. Okay, we really don't need this function. As you can see over here, it says repeat register sidebar, this function for additional sidebars. We don't need that. We would have only one. So let's do it like this. Okay, sidebar support sidebar widgets. Okay, single line code, we don't need that. You know, okay, I think we would need this function because there is a hook over here, widgets in it, so that means we would have to call this function to register this sidebar. We can straight use this like this, but I wouldn't suggest that. Since there is a hook, there's always the best way to go about it. Okay, function register custom widgets. Okay, so bracket starts and here we go, the bracket ends. Sorry. Okay, now support, that would be for sidebar widgets, and if you do call this function and hook it up with the function within the add action, we can do it like this. Okay, so it should be register custom widgets. Okay, we will call it, let the ID be whatever it is over here, and we can do it primary sidebar like this. You can change the description. Okay, I'm gonna keep it the way it is. I really don't need to worry too much about it. Okay, save that, go back to admin panel. As in, you can see a short description of the sidebar. You can change it over here. Only primary sidebar widgets section. Just a simple description so that it shows up over here for you better understanding. Okay, all right. Now, there are a lot of things, or the available widgets over here. These can be added over here, but we would have to have some kind of style to make it look good. Okay, let's say case in point, we can add this widget. All right, all pages, just to show you an example. Page title, sort by page title, doesn't matter. Save them, and as you can see on the section, okay, there was a function that's needed to be over here to call that function, to call this primary widgets that's just been displayed. That has to be this one. Actually, this is the way it's supposed to be on the sidebar. Let's go back to our sidebar, and we can call this function over here like this, dynamic sidebar. Okay, I think the name was primary sidebar, if I'm not wrong, primary. So we can do it over here like that, primary. Okay, refresh. As you can see, this widget just showed up. Whatever we added over here, it showed up over there. So now let's try with another one. Let's show the calendar. Let's see. just to show you an example. Okay, so it's working. So our sidebar is dynamic right now, and we can use as many widgets as we want, but we got to be a little bit careful because we would have to style all these widgets, even though would be using classes, but there are certain cases where the classes won't work. That would require you to add a whole lot of CSS, but I'm going to show you the simple one. Okay, let's inspect this element. As you can see over here, there is a class called widget that we are using over here, and widget title, and there's a list section. Okay, so let's style them like this. Let's go back to our sidebar section. Okay, let's put it like this. Okay, now the sidebar has widget class. So copy this. I'm not going to use all of them, but simply this one. Okay, let's see, border solid pixel red. Let's see if the red shows up, then we would know the class is working. There you go. Okay, our class is working. Now we need to put some space in between. So what are we going to do? We're going to put space at the bottom of each widget. So it's supposed to be like this: 0, 0, 25 pixel 0. So what we are saying, on the top 0, right inside 0 pixel, at the bottom is 25, and on the left there was 0 pixel of margin. So if you refresh this, there is a 25 pixel space in between these two widgets. Now, one thing that we need to remember, that we left 25 pixel on the left hand side of this post section over here and 25 pixel over here. So if we don't put 25 pixel over here, it wouldn't look nice. I think that's the case. So what we have to do, we have to reduce additional 25 pixel from here so that we can make space for the sidebar widgets on the right hand side. Let me show you. Okay, let's put it aside first. Over here, 850, so deduct another 25, so 825. Since 25 pixel is smaller, it became this whole section became 25 pixels smaller, so I can take the space over here on the left. So our sidebar section can become actually 325 pixel, and refresh this page. Since it became bigger, that's not what we wanted. We wanted these widgets to be with 300 pixel, so that you would have additional 25 on the right hand side. Okay, or we can even use it in a different way. Okay, we do not have to make the widgets 300 at all. Rather, we can delete them and padding 25 pixel 0, 0. That should do the work. Didn't work. Okay, didn't work because this one, we still have the margin over here, and we need to get rid of the border. Border is taking 2 pixel over here, so 0, refresh, coming back, no. Okay, kind of problematic. 25 pixel over here and border 0. Okay, what am I doing it wrong? What is wrong? Let me see. Our sidebar section should be 350 and 25. Okay, here is the mistake. We did the width to be 325, and on top we are adding another 25 pixel padding. So 325 and 25, that's 350. But we allocated the space 225 only. So what we do, padding, make it 0, margin 0, 25 pixel 0, 0. Let's see if it works. Still didn't work. something is seriously wrong with my code. Okay, again the same mistake. Width supposed to be 300. Gosh. Okay, here we go. Now if you want to keep some space on the top, you can do that too. So we can just simply put margin on top, 25 pixel. It will look nicer. Okay, we have same amount of space on top and bottom, and over here margin in between the widgets we need 25 pixel 0, so that there isn't a space in between these two block widget. Okay, this is exactly what I wanted. Okay, now as you can see, the calendar is H3 title. Every single widget has H3 title. H3 seems to be pretty big for a widget because our post title has H2. So this is supposed to be H5, I think. Or you can actually use whatever you want, but I'm just saying for the sake of simplicity, let's make it H5. Okay, H5. And make it H5 from the functions.php so that we have all the widgets titled to be H5. Refresh within the H5 tag. Okay, there we go. Now, as you can see, the title need a little bit of breathing space in between. Okay, so let's go back to our CSS. Margin bottom 10 pixel, and we need to add some padding because if we do not have padding, there were certain letter like G over here, they're gonna get a little bit messed up at the end. Okay, so let's put padding bottom 10 pixels so that are total 20 pixel. Now looks nicer. But if you really want, you can lower that a little bit, like maybe 5 pixel. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that works. Why not? Now we would have to style this list over here. As you can see, this list menus, we need to fix them as well. Now, depending on the type of elements that you are using, right now we have the page item. But if we do have custom link, it would look different, or the class would change. So what are we going to do? The generic styling, it'll be like this. Let me show you. Sidebar widget UL margin 0, padding 0, border 0. Display block. I'm going to show it as a block. Okay. Let's see. Looks like block. Fine. Now for the link item, display block as well, padding 10 pixel 0 on the left and right hand side. Refresh, it's too much, so let's do 5. Looks all right. Okay, but we do not want any text decoration or underline anyway, so we can put just like before, text decoration none, and there's supposed to be in a semicolon. And for hover, we can put the underline back. It's like hover text decoration underline. Okay, refresh. Now there are underlines. Okay, looks okay. Now for this calendar, you have to use this table styling. Okay, this is a bit complicated. I'm not gonna get into that. You would find a lot of CSS, or you can write your own CSS. I'm just showing you how to add this widget section on the sidebar so that you can do it by yourself. And if you want, like the recent post, you can add another one over here, like the recent post, even though it shows over here 5, but most probably you won't see it because we only have 2 published posts. And also there is a one called display post date, which is something most probably you would be using or should be using, because people need to know when you are writing this post. As you can see over here, the item shows up, but the dates are kind of like big. Now we have to style them so that it doesn't look that bad. Okay, span class post date. Okay, so what we need to do, sidebar ULLI span. We can use span or even the post title post date class, so that to be a specific font size supposed to be 13 pixel maybe. Let's see how does it look like. Looks okay. And the color is supposed to be maybe 888, a little grayish, because we really don't want text to be that visible. Okay, now in between, as you can see, for each element, even though we do have a little bit of space, it seems like they're very close, so we need to put a little bit of space in between. So we can put it like this: margin 0, 0, 10 pixel 0. Let's see how does it look like. I think it looks okay. You can style them more if you want. You definitely can style them actually, but excuse me, I will keep it the way it is right now. I wouldn't go a little bit too much in details on that one. Excuse me. As you can see over here on the post title, we need a little bit of space because the meta I'm sorry, I'm getting okay, the post title over here seems to be overlapping with the date, and there's not much space in here. So what we can do, we can give them a little bit of space to breathe. And let's take a look at the element first. We have within the post class, and then we have h2. So if we go to archive section, post, and then we can put it like this: post h2, padding 0, 0, 10 pixel, and 0. And margin could be at the bottom like 10 pixel, 0. Okay. Now they have a little bit more breathing space in here. So if you have a very long title, that still should be okay. And excuse me. And if your title becomes like too big and you see these 2 different lines are coming very close, just like the content, you can add one line over here, like line height like 1.345, whatever you think is good. Okay, I'm putting 1.5 just to be on safe side. If you want, you can reduce them, or you can make it bigger or make it a smaller, whatever you feel like. But this is basically the idea. Okay, for the time being, I'm going to put 1.1. Actually, I really don't need 1 point that big of a space. And also over here on the meta tag section or metadata section, we are using called span small. Okay, that's not nice enough. What we can do on the index.php, we can go back in here, and instead of small, we can use a section called div class post meta. Okay, post meta, just like this. Instead of metadata, you can use post meta like this. Okay, and instead of p, we can use d or div. I'm sorry, that's supposed to be div, not p, div. Okay, so now let's go back in here and make the necessary changes over here on the archive section. Instead of metadata, it's a div, so it's a class and it's called post meta, right? Yeah, so we can do it like this: post meta. Okay, now as you can see over here, even though we have post meta block, for some reason overflowing hidden. So it should not be overflowing at all. Okay, I'm still not getting the point what's going on here. Control div. Okay, I think I messed it up a little bit over here like this, post meta, and we did not fix this. This small should go away and we should be using like that. Okay, so there isn't a space over here, and you can style them in a little different color, or maybe you can style the content in a little different color. But for sure, I want the meta tag or metadata to be a little smaller. I do not want them to be the same size of entry or p. That's 116 pixel. What I can do, I can add a font size to be 14 or 13, something like that. So they're a little bit smaller and a bit different from the typical post. As you can see over here, they're a bit different right now. Okay, now also we are still dealing with the very basic of our template design, which we still have to design a lot more. Okay, so this is a section. Now this is if we don't have a post. Okay, so this is our archive page for the timing, or the index page, home page. If you refresh it, it should be fine and working fine. Okay, now since it's in our archive page, we need a link over here, okay, for every single, because this is still not the single page. Single page is supposed to be only one post, and that should not have other posts. This is our single page, which we need to fix, but for the time being, since we have the archive page, let's fix it first. Okay, we need a link over here, so it can be like this: a href, a PHP function, get the permalink, okay, that should be okay. Let's check it out. Does it work? Most probably now. So the permalink, as far as I can remember, either get the permalink or get the permalink is basically for the echo, if I'm not wrong, but for general link it's supposed to be permalink. As you can see, it's working just fine. Now let's go back to our single.php page. We have our post section. This is our archive page. This is our post section. Okay, now same instead of post ID, we should use something called like single. Okay, and this is supposed to be the same thing like over here, and I'm going to remove the post section because I want to take advantage of the same section over here. Now one thing, please bear in mind, the older post class, since this post section, I'm not talking about the archive, this, let me copy and paste it so that you understand what I'm talking about. Apart from the single ID, the rest of the section remains pretty much whatever it is. So what you can do, rather than typing it in twice, you can just have a section with only class like this. Let me show you, just like, not like this, but rather like the class only, like this. Okay, that would work for both the archive and the single post page, but bear in mind, I just want to make it, at some point I would make it more customized. You can use this section or these classes for both the archive and the single post page. That means over here, okay, I think I messed up the code, that's why it's showing it in a different way. So either way, you can use this section, or you can just simply remove this section altogether. The only reason why I'm doing that once I'm done with this tutorial, I will customize the whole section based on my requirement, because this is going to be not only the template for a blog section but also going to be template for e-commerce section, so I would customize it a lot more. Okay, but for the sake of simplicity, I would just remove it and use it the way it is over here so that I do not have problem later on to deal with. Let's refresh this page. Not quite sure what it does happened. Oh, it's our page. Instead of post, we came back to our page. Okay, refresh it. Okay, now let's make some changes in here. This is supposed to be our single post section, and then we have div class post. So H2 remains as it is. We're not going to change it. You can make it H1. A lot of people think it should be better for SEO purpose, but that section remains entirely up to you. I really don't want to bother you with that idea right now, because we are working with the development section. So let's stick to that idea. Div class post meta, I guess. Yeah, post meta. And it ends with div. Okay, so div class post meta div. Okay, now go to this page, single post page. This is how it looks like. On this page we do not have any link to the title. There wasn't supposed to be any. This is the full post we are looking at, and this is the full post that we are looking at, and there should be a comment section at the bottom. But before we get into that one, let's fix this footer menu at the bottom. Okay, let's fix this footer menu. Okay, so we have two sections going on. Over here. One is a copyright content or text, and then the menu over here. Okay, so let's separate them first. Let's go to footer section. Let's do div class copyright. Okay, and this is our menu. That's it. Now first thing we need to do, refresh and take a look at the div copyright. Okay, we typed it wrong actually. Copyright. So on the footer section we would have a class footer. I'm sorry, that's supposed to be copyright actually. Float left, and then you can define width 500 pixel maybe, just to be on safe side, so that if your name is kind of a little big, you can definitely adjust it to it. Okay, you know what, we need to go to the small post so that we can fix it better. Okay, so as you can see, we have the menu over here, but we need to put it side by side just like this one, but in a little bit shorter form. Okay, now let's take a look at the div wrapper that we have over here. That's menu bottom container. That's kind of big name. I'm not liking it actually. As you can see over here, menu top container, it's kind of big like that. So over here it's supposed to be menu bottom container. Okay, you know what, let's copy the whole thing and we would adjust. Okay, I wasn't supposed to be there. Let's adjust over here. Okay, don't get scared. I will make the change over here first. Okay, footer, 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 and this one is going to be footer as well. And as far as the classes are concerned, this is going to be not top, what it is, bottom container, right? Okay, so instead of top, we can just put bottom. Copy this content over here, bottom. Now we need to remember that the background for the top one was blue, but we do not want that over here, so we would keep it normal. We don't need any background. And for we actually do not need this one either, I would say. Now like this. And as far as the font size is concerned, let's make it, padding looks a little too much in here for bottom section. Let's make it 10, and font size, make it 13 pixel. Let's see, how does it look like? I don't even see that. It's kind of weird. What happened? Okay. Copyright is float left. Let's make it 400 pixel. Overflow hidden. Float right. Let's see. Footer. What am I getting it wrong? Float right, menu hidden. Okay, let's put a width over here. 400, maybe 300 pixel. Let's see if it shows up first. Okay, so the messed up thing is that we gotta take out this color and color from here, because of the white color, just like before over here, it became invisible. Okay, here we go. Now what do we need to do? We do not need font weight. We can use 400 or normal, I would say. It's basically saying as it's supposed to be normal. And also you can have underline or background actually. Okay, let's see. Looks all right. Okay, what we can do though, make it a little bigger. Actually, it looks a little too small. Let's make it 14 pixel. And also, once we refresh, we want to make this text 14 pixel as well, so that it doesn't look odd. Font size, you know what, you can actually remove this and remove that from here as well, and we can assign the font size to our parent class, parent div, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see, so that we don't need to put all that code. Okay, I think that's what we were talking about here. Okay, now another important thing that we need to remember, we had a 25 pixel space over here in between the content and the border of this design. Over here we have a little less, so we have to fix that. First thing we do is, whatever it is on the top, most probably 20 pixel, and on the 25 for both sides. Let's see, how does it look like? Yeah, now it looks the same. Okay, also what we need to understand, there was too much space over here. Copyright, what happened is, okay, even the width is 100%, we have to mention max width 1200, because we really don't want to overlap the actual size. So it remains, as you can, no, it still remained. Since we do have 25 pixel on both sides, so it's supposed to be 1150, not 1200. 1150 pixel maximum width. Border top remains as it is. It's not a problem at all. Yes, perfect. Now, as you can see over here, there is a balance between, there is a little bit of problem with the balance between the copyright text and the menu link. So what we can do, this copyright, we can add a little bit of extra space maybe, and it could be like this: padding top 10 pixel maybe. Yeah, I think we are pretty much at the same. Yeah, it looks all right. It looks all right. Okay. Now this color, I'm not liking it to be in this color. Okay, it's always gotta be black regardless. Let's put it 111, and even if it is visited, it's supposed to be a little grayish color. As you can see, it's visited. Well, you know what? It doesn't matter. Let's remove the background, keep it 111, and when it is color is active, color 111. It really doesn't matter, but you get the idea. Yeah. And for text decoration, there must be an underline so that they understand that they are hovering on top of this link. Okay, like this. Contact page, this is the contact page. Okay, also I really forgot is that we need to have a page for this page content to be displayed. So we need to create another file called page.php, which is very similar to single.php, but only difference is that it won't show any metadata. So let's go back to our single.php, copy the entire thing, paste it over here. Just get rid of the post meta, because we really don't need to show the post meta section or the page metadata. All we need to need is just the post content. Okay, so if you refresh this page and go back to contact page, you will see it's different. Okay, so there is no additional content. There is no. Okay, let me go to the page section, and to show some content, lorem ipsum, we just need to add some content so that we can show how exactly the page looks like. Okay, we need to modify the contact page. Contact, this is the second paragraph, update this, and that should be it over here. So this is how the contact page is going to look like. And for this, if you want to design it a bit different way, we can have a separate page for this one as well. So instead of post, we can have another block section over here called page. This would be highly useful if you want to make custom template page or custom page, like as you can see at the very beginning, that if you go to the home page, you would see a bunch of posts over here, right? But if you do not want to show them, but just like my website, if you go to the home page, you see a custom page that does not show any post at all. So for that kind of thing, if you want to do that one, you can create custom page, but that's for different discussion. But for general post related content, this kind of post related content or service section or whatever you want to do, you need to have a page section separated. So we can have instead of single, we can have a page, just like exactly. Now here is one thing that I would recommend, just in case if you are wondering, if you want your page section to be just like mine and you don't want any sidebar, all you have to do, go to the page section and get rid of this get sidebar section. Okay, now if you remove it, let me show you what it does happen. If you remove it on page.php page, remove it and the sidebar is vanished. All you have to do, put the content in the center, but that's about it. Apart from that one, this thing remains as it is. It's supposed to be page, and we are changing the title from sidebar to page. If you want to keep the sidebar, you can keep it. If you don't want to, that's fine too. Okay, so since I'm keeping this, I would have to maintain that level like this, maintain the same standard, and rest of the section would remain as it is. There are a lot more things that can go actually within this single posting, but I really can't show everything. There are a lot of customization that's necessary that you would have to do it by yourself. And okay, this is the post section, and since we do not have any meta section, we do not need that. So this is our page CSS. Looks all right. Okay, so the sidebar section, it's up to you. Well, you know what, okay, let's remove the sidebar, because on page we do not want to, or I do not want to show the sidebar. It would rather look awkward. So what we can do, instead of float, we can put margin so that we can put the content in the middle. Now remember one thing, it's in the middle. Now remember one thing, the title looks in the left hand side, but it looks a little bit awkward. If you want to put it in the middle, it would have been nicer. So what you can do over here in the page section, you can just put this line, text align center. Okay, just like that. That's it. And if you want to get rid of this border line at the bottom, that's even better. I mean, you can do that. It's not like something big of a deal. Remove it. Done. One more thing that I want you to take a look at. Okay, this is a blog page that I customly created over here to separate the blog section from the main site content. But in that case, you would have to create a custom page template, which I don't want to do it over here. But this is just another page, it doesn't have any content. Because if you go to the page section, and take a look at the blog, there's supposed to be a page template over here, but there is no parent section or no template. If we do use template, it should be visible over here. Okay. But since we are not using, we can just put dummy content like dummy and update this page and refresh it. You would have your page. But if you want to use the blog section, then I would recommend you to go with the standard design for the template. Just like on my website, I separated the blog section from the home page. So if you go to blog, it's entirely custom made because this is a custom template. And if you want to, as you can see, I added a lot more content to display the ads as well over here. That's kind of like a little different. If you want to do that one, you would have to know how to customly design the whole page. So that's a different discussion. I will make another video to show you guys how to do that one. But for the time being, just understand that you can create a custom template for a contact page like this. You can have a contact form over here that would require another template. That's also possible, but that's pretty much all you need to do for the time being. And also, we were talking about the search form, so let's go back to our 2019. There was a custom form, search form, PHP. I'm assuming that should be one over here. Template part, post, no. I do not see over here, but for the sake of simplicity, I can grab one from my my own custom template search form. It's very simple actually. There is nothing much in here. So we created another page over here called search form. It's already there, so skip it. I don't want to overwrite it. I'll remove this one because there is no content in here, and just paste it over here. Now let's open it up and see what it's inside. Okay, form method. There is not much going on here, but I thought there should be a template for search form, if I'm not wrong. Okay, this is pretty much all you have, and if you refresh it, you should be able to see the search box in here. Okay, if you write hello, we will need another search result page, which is also called search result. Let me see, search result, search form. Let's try to do hello. As you can see, hello world showed up because we are using the search form to search content. For displaying this result, they are using actually my index.php, because if you take a look at the template hierarchy, if you look at the template, let me close this page for good and close this as well, close this one as well. And if you look at the template over here, WordPress theme development, where is it? PHP, go back. Let's go back in here for the time being. Okay, this is the line, as you can see, search.php. Let's create the search.php so that we can actually search.php. Okay, this would be the page where we would be displaying the search results. So over here we would have the traditional. Okay, let's copy the whole thing. Okay, paste it over here, and then instead of the W2 over here for the post link, we need to have a title over here. Instead of, we can put it like this, h2 to display the query that being searched for over here, and using the title over here. Okay, so what it does happen is that if you do perform a search, it will show what are the word or what are the keyword that you use to search this page. As you can see over here, search result for hello. Now if you do search with world, so both this post has a word called world. Let me search. There you go, there's another word on this post as well. This is how you can build your search result page. Also, what we need to remember is that if we do have multiple posts, let's say more than one post, we need to show that on our archive page. Okay, so let's create another page called archive.php, which is going to be very similar to our index.page with a little difference. Let's go back over here. Let me see if I can show you from here. Archive should, okay, WP link pages for page navigation. Okay, this is the most of the page. In fact, index.php page should have this. Let me see if I can show you to you over here. Index page, I'm sorry, I got it wrong. Okay, this section, default usage. Okay, at the bottom of this page, because on index page we want to show, go to the home page, and we want to show next back from previous page or next page at the bottom of this page, because but since over here on the settings section it shows reading the number of posts until it shows the page navigation at the bottom, next or next or previous page or next page is 10. We do not have 10 posts over here, so let's put 1 for the sake of example. For the sake of this example, let's put it like this, and it does not show. Okay, what do we do? Okay, quick tag, the same way, link pages, deprecated, link pages, before, after, paragraph tags. Okay, we can even use this one, previous post nav link, next post link, post archive, get the post pagination. Okay, let me see. I think I got it wrong. It's WP link pages, not pages. It's supposed to be post pagination. But let me confirm this. I think I'm using my own custom function to display this navigation, as you can see on my blog section. Once again, I'm going back to my blog section. blog section to show you what I meant by own custom navigation. If you go to blog section and if you take a look at the archive section, let's say on thoughts section we have archive, and at the bottom the navigation that you were looking at, the pagination you were looking at, that's a custom function that I wrote by myself to make it nicer, which I provided at some point in my post on my website. But the default WordPress usage is something like this, if I'm not wrong. Mid size is 2. Okay, let me see if it does shows up. Okay, this is the post navigation. 2 is the hello world, and then back. Now as far as this navigation section is concerned, it shows over here there is a pagination class that's being used to style that, okay, which we can create as well on our style on archive page or independent one, because this navigation would show up on archive page, search result page if they have multiple pages. That's supposed to be next, not onward. Look nicer. Okay, yeah, it looks okay. Post navigation, I'm not quite sure if you really need this text, but just to be on safe side, you can have that. You can even hide this screen reader text over here. It's not a big deal. I can show you how to do that. So we can create another section called Pagination. Okay, not navigation, it's supposed to be pagination. Pagination, display, block, overflow. It's supposed to be hidden, and if you refresh this page, there must be a block. Yeah, we have that. As you can see, our CSS shows up over here. Now for screen reader text, I'm not quite sure if I want to show it or not. If you want to show it, you can show it, but I think how about pagination and H2, just simply hide them. Display none. If you have any creative idea, please feel free to use it any way you want. As you can see, it's gone. And for nav links, you can style them just like the way we did on ULLI kind of thing over here, but I don't want to go a little bit more in details on that one because I think it took quite a lot of time already to record the whole thing. But this is pretty much the basic idea. You can show the page description, content, and there are a lot more things that can be done, like this profile page. As you can see, there is no content, or no content is being displayed on author Iftikhar, but you can have a custom profile page for a user. If you go to the template section, let me show you. There must be a page, PHP page, that's something called like author, if I'm not wrong. Author.php, yeah, this is author.php. If you click on that link, on the user link, that author.php page can show the content, or if you have multiple authors on your site, so you may want to show, let's say somebody's reading this post and you want to show the other post written by this author. On that case, you can definitely use another template called author.php and show the post that belong to that specific author only. But I really don't want to use that one because that's something your very own adventure that you gotta make. It's a lot of custom coding can be there. You can show users social links and other stuff. That's pretty much the basic that you can do on authors. So I would highly recommend you to go through the list of template files over here that's being displayed. Please understand that archive.php page that I did over here is not actually appropriate one. In fact, I did not do anything over here. Wow. Okay, let me fix it over here then. Since I did not do it, I have to do it. And what I can do, just copy everything that you have on your index.php, paste it over here. But for over here, you can have a section. That's going to be a pretty big one. I'm going to show you, but that's going to be a very, very big. line, because this archive can be based on dates, based on author, based on month, based on year, based on tag, based on category. So that plays in a significant role. But I'm going to show you real quick so that you can have an idea that what exactly is happening on those archive. Let me see if I can find the necessary information over here on archive. I think that would have a lot more data than just, okay, you know what, I don't want to get too more deep on that one. Let me go back to my template page, and on this page there was just simple one line that you need to add over here. Let me show you. Okay, I'm going to post or copy paste this tagline just to show you that how exactly it should be working, so that you don't get stuck in there. It's a lot of lines with author, tag, category, and all these, so it will take a little bit of time. Okay, go back. Okay, on this editor, if you have, then you come over here. Okay, let's widen it up a bit. Okay, you can see a lot of else if going on here. Okay, so this is what you want to show just to make it look a little bit more dynamic, because like I mentioned before, you need to have tag for archive page for post tag, archive page for date, archive page for author. There could be so many archive page. So just to give you an example how exactly it can go or look like, something like this. You can pause this video just in case if you want to know that what exactly would be what exactly it should be showing over here. Okay, once I'm done with this, you can take a look at it and then make the necessary adjustment for your own need. Okay, and like this. So basically all I'm saying over here, okay, I don't think we need this. Okay, so this is basically a page title kind of thing, showing that if you have archive, content archive, let's say like this, and we are looking at book archive. Okay, unexpected PHP, I got it something wrong. Okay, I did not close this tag. Okay, now topic book, it shows topic because I wrote topic over here. It's actually supposed to be category. Okay, so refresh this page and you can see this is the archive category, books category archive. Now if you want to what it does mean is that on the review category there was a book review category, and if you remove the book and keep the only reviews, you can see the review category. Okay, even in fact you can do it like this. Let's say you can do 2019 archive for 2019, because as you can see these posts were written in 2019. Now let me show you one more thing. It's May and the other post is on May as well. So if we do write a post, let's say this one, test post, as you can see it's written over here on June, so publish it, test post, and it's on 7th 2019 07. So if you do it like this 2019 07, you would see July archive only, as you can see over here, right? So this is what this piece of tag or this piece of PHP code does. It recognizes the request from your browser and showing it that based on 2019 and 07, that's July, this is the post, or these are the posts that has been written. But if you put only 2019, all three posts shows up. This is the second one and this is the last one. Okay, and also please remember that on the settings section I put for reading I put only one. If you do put two and save the changes, then you'll see there will be 2 page only, because on the first two page, refresh this page, okay, on the first page you see the first two posts, and the second page you see the last post, or the third one, because we have total 3 different posts that has been published. That's pretty much the basic, and you can go tag. These are some of the tags that I have been using on some of my posts. Let's say test 4, right? Now copy this text, and if you go over here, and most probably use tag test 4, see, tag test 4, because this is being picked up by this tag, this function. If it is a tag archive page, then show the tag and also show the tag title that's being searched for, okay? And you can change this code any way you want, and if you want to style them, you surely can style, no problem with that one. This is basically the whole idea of. Now definitely I would be working more at the back end to develop this theme to further and make it WooCommerce compatible, but that's a different discussion. At some point we will style them, and search box I would have to style them as well. But apart from that, the basic functionality of your template is pretty much working. You have the footer section, header section, navigation, you have the sidebar, and you have the post. You have the search box that works, and you have the archive page as well. Now there are some other features that you can add. For that I would highly recommend you to go through the theme development section of the WordPress, and there are a lot more things that you can do. You can do custom post type registration, and then you can use custom form, whole bunch of things. You can use 404. I did not add. You can definitely add one, and the template for 404 is simply this one. Copy the whole thing, copy it, and create 404.php and paste a simple code. But make sure the template tag that you are using, this get header, you can get rid of this line. You really don't need that one, okay? And since I started doing it, why not? Okay, I'm not gonna do the entire thing. It's gonna take some time actually if I want to do. But here is the thing: this whole code, you take it like this and make the necessary changes. It's gonna follow the page.php for the most of the part, like this. Okay, let's do it. Since I started doing it, why not just finish it? Okay, like this section page. And since I do not need any content over here, post section, I do not need that. Div section is supposed to be post. I'm sorry, it's supposed to be page. Okay, page. Get footer section, and we do not need any header. We just need an h2 tag to show the title, and change it to h2. And you do not need that PHP tag. You can just simply say 404 not found, kind of like this, 404 not found, and get rid of this header section. And instead of post content, you can simply add post over here to follow the simple pattern for of a simple page. So I'm not gonna go really complicated with that. And actually it's supposed to be inside, okay? So, and then we need another div class entry, entry, okay? And then you can wrap the whole text within a p tag, okay? I don't even know why I removed that p tag over there. Okay, looks good. And then close the div section, or then you can simply add this PHP to show the search form. This is about it. If you want to show now 404, okay, this is your 404 or error page. The search box, once you style them, it's going to be like this, exactly like over here. That's pretty much it. If you do not find anything, it will just straight go to the 404 page and saying that it looks nothing was found over here on this location, maybe try a search. So the search box is already there, so you can even get rid of it if you don't want to. Sure, why not? Okay, remove this search box. That's it. You can change the content, or you can change the language over here. It's entirely up to you. Okay, that's pretty much all it's gonna be for theme development. I would encourage you to dig and study a little bit more the WordPress theme development section. You will find all the necessary elements that you need, all the necessary instructions that you need. There are a whole bunch of things that you need to do apart from that one. You have to follow this CSS coding standard, and I would also encourage you to go and use the handbook best practices to find, I'm sorry about the there, it's New York City, it happens all the time, and study this section, best practices, see how exactly they are asking you to use the PHP, JavaScript, or HTML codes to get the most out of your template. You can do a lot more thing on your template, but that's basically what you need to do to build your template. As you can see, our theme already been recognized on the plugin section. Over here the theme section, we have our widgets, we have our menus. There'll be a lot more video tutorial explaining certain little things that I may have missed. If you have any question, feel free to drop that question from the comment section and I will get back to you. But for the time being, that's pretty much all we have got for today. Thank you, take care, subscribe my channel, and I talk to you soon. Take care, bye bye.